like to kindly remind all the honorable guests and participants to set up the virtual background of today's event. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning from Indonesia, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to International Virtual Lecture on Natural Resources Sustainability Science Camp 2021, organized by Faculty of Mathematics and Natural Sciences, Universitas Negeri Malang. My name is Nimal, and it's my honor to be the MC of today's event. First and foremost, I'd like to welcome the Honorable Dean of Faculty of Mathematics and Natural Sciences UM and all the Vice Deans, the Head of Departments and Study Programs, Director of Office of International Affairs Universitas Negeri Malang, the Head of Office of International Affairs AFMIPA UM with all the team, and also all the participants of today's event. Well, thank you everyone for attending this special occasion in the international lecture. Even though we cannot meet you in person due to the pandemic of COVID-19, we always hope that everybody is safe in their home countries. This year, we are delighted to hold the Science Camp 2021 as one of the efforts of UOIA, FMIPA, UM in contributing to global education. And well, everyone, without a further ado, let's move on to the first agenda, which is the welcoming speech from the Director of Office of International Affairs Universitas Negeri Malang. Ladies and gentlemen, we are pleased to welcome Dr. Avi Eliana.
Thank you, Mbak Nimel. Am I audible clearly? Yep, thank you very much. Honorable Dean, Vice Deans, colleagues of Faculty of Mathematics and Natural Sciences of Universitas Negeri Malang, university partners, students, and participants of Science Camp 2021. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Very good morning, very good afternoon, or any greetings that fit you where you are. I hope everyone is doing fine among the pandemic. On behalf of Rector Universitas Negeri Malang, I would like to welcome you to UM, home to excellence in learning innovations. Hopefully, you can visit and study at UM in person in the near future. It's been almost 2 years that physical mobility has been largely restricted. In effect, student mobility, inbound and outbound, has to be called off or transformed to remote learning. However not ideal the remote learning is, our quest for knowledge must not stop. We should thrive. The pandemic is a turning point for innovations, including in teaching and learning. FMIPA Science Camp is one of the many evidences that UM continues to grow and innovate for the sake of knowledge sharing and learning. Thanks for choosing to spend your weekend with us. I gathered that participants are not only coming from Indonesia, but also Malaysia, Thailand, India, Cambodia, Taiwan, Pakistan, Uganda, Philippines, Timor-Leste, as well as Bangladesh. Indeed, remote learning is also a good way to pass time during quarantine. You can learn new knowledge and skills from the comfort of your own home, taught by teachers who are thousands of miles away. You can learn at your own pace as you are, I'm sure, offered myriads of online programs. You can choose which topics you like and which time zone you are able to cope with. Students, once again, welcome to UM. Make the most of Science Camp 2021. As you are now part of UM, I hope you can always bring a piece of UM with you. Like we always remember that you are part of us. Thank you. Enjoy the lecture series. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you so much, Dr. Rafi, for the welcoming speech. And moving on the next session, please allow me to invite the Dean of Faculty of Mathematics and Natural Sciences, Universitas Negeri Malang, to deliver a welcoming speech and opening remarks. To Professor Dr. Hadi Suwano, MSI, the floor is yours. Okay, I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, since Professor Hadi is not here yet, we're gonna watch the video of Universitas Negeri Malang profile. So for the operator, please help me to show the video first. Thank you.
Good morning, all. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everyone. MC, it is our time to give speech, or?
Yes, Prof. Time is yours.
Thank you. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Distinguished speakers, guests, and participants, good morning from Universitas Negeri Malang, and Honorable the Director of Office International Affairs, Universitas Negeri Malang, Dr. Evi. First of all, let us thank God, the Almighty, who has given His grace and guidance Today we can meet virtually at Science Camp International Virtual Lectures on Natural Resources Sustainability 2021, organized by the Office of International Affairs, Fakultas Matematika Universitas Negeri Malang. It is our pleasure to welcome you to all to this international virtual lectures. This event will be held for 2 days with 5 keynote speakers who will deliver and discuss selected topics on natural resources sustainability. Natural resources and the goods and ecosystem services, they provide support every aspect of human life and livelihood, from food, water security to general well-being and spiritual fulfillment. In many countries, biodiversity is under severe threats as ecosystems are lost and degraded faster and more extensively than at any comparable period in our history. Habitat loss and fragmentation, resources overexploitation, pollution, invasive species, and increasing climate change will lead to further biodiversity loss. One of the main challenges in the coming decades will be reconciling biodiversity and nature conservation and development if we are to achieve the twin goal of poverty reduction and a sustainable future for all. This international virtual lecture share knowledge and actively support action to maintain biodiversity and improve natural resource management. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to take this occasion to express our appreciation to all speakers. First, Professor Dr. Jerion Elbers from Aachen University of Applied Science, Germany. Second, Dr. Suharti SPD MSI from Department of Chemistry, Universitas Negeri Malang. Third, Dr. Renat Ubed Sonefah Rudin Arosi SPD MSI from Department of Chemistry, Universitas Negeri Malang. Fourth, Dr. Vivi Novianti MSI from Department of Biology, Universitas Negeri Malang. And Agung Wicoro SPD MKes from Department of Biology, Universitas Negeri Malang. Our appreciation should also be addressed to all students from many universities in Indonesia, Malaysia, Bangladesh, Timor-Leste, Thailand, India, Pakistan, Taiwan, and Cambodia. This event will not be well organized without the support of various parties and contribution from the participants. We especially thank to the Office of International Affairs, Faculty of Mathematics and Natural Sciences, Universitas Negeri Malang, and the organizing committee who have prepared this event to run well and successfully. Finally, we hope that this event will provide valuable knowledge, experience, and actionable information for us about natural resource sustainability. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I hereby officially open International Virtual Lectures on Natural Resource Sustainability 2021. Enjoy these lectures and we hope that you all will have a great time. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you so much, Prof. Hadi, for the opening remarks. And ladies and gentlemen, before we move on to the next agenda, I'd like to invite you all for a group photo with our Dean and the Director of OIA-UM. Hence, please kindly enable your video or turn your camera on so that the committee could capture your beautiful smiles. So, I hope everyone is ready. On my count, in 3, 2, 1. Once more, ladies and gentlemen. Three, two, one. Very well, thank you. Well, everyone, to give a brief introduction of Universitas Negeri Malang, we'll start this event with the introduction of UM. Since we're on the same boat, we need to know to each other to be able to conquer the oceans because out of sight, out of mind. And ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Cahyo Aji Hapsoro.
Okay. Thank you so much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for the nice opportunity. And in this nice opportunity, I want to introduce you about Universitas Negeri Malang. Okay. Okay. Sorry. Is the voice heard by you all?
It seems like still loading, Dr. Cahyo.
Okay.
Yeah, it's clear.
Universitas Negeri Malang offers the best education, research, and community service in Indonesia. UM has consistently been maintaining its position as one of the best universities in the country. In 2018, UM is in the top 15 universities in Indonesia, according to the Ministry of Research and Higher Education and PORIC, which proves its quality as a center of excellence and reference. UM has dedicated itself as the learning university since 2009. It has strengthened its vision as a learning organization and as an outstanding learning resource in Indonesia. UM students are distributed to various high-quality and well-reputed study programs, extending from associate degree to doctoral degree programs. Among UM students, there are international students who come from various countries across the globe. Recently, UM has 45 study programs accredited B and 59 study programs accredited A nationally. UM was established on 18 October 1954 as a College of Teacher Training and Education, PTTK. The institution transformed into UM on 4th of August 1999. UM's main campus is in Malang, surrounded by education facilities, recreation and tourism spots, sports and business centers. UM's Campus 2 is located not far from the east gate of Malang. UM's Campus 3 is located in the Gate of Heritage area of the Shrine of Soekarno, the first President of Indonesia, in Blitar. Faculty of Education, Faculty of Letters, Faculty of Mathematics and Natural Sciences, Faculty of Economics, Faculty of Engineering, Faculty of Sports Science, Faculty of Social Sciences, Faculty of Psychology Education, Postgraduate Programs, UM also offers associate degree in vocational education. They provide trainings in various skills. These are managed under the skill training programs for automotive, business, industry, and information technology, or known as PROBIS. Under the guidance of lecturers and experts in their respective fields, students can experience revolutionary learning innovations, develop their critical thinking skills, produce innovations, and nurture their enthusiasm for knowledge. These endeavors perfectly fit with UM's aspiration in becoming the best center for learning innovations in Indonesia. UM has implemented transdisciplinary curriculum since 2018. Students can expand their exploration of knowledge and skills in other disciplines. Improving student skills and welfare is a priority at UM. Thus, UM support 34 students' extracurricular activity units, or UKM, ranging from intellectual activities, arts, sports, students' welfare, religions, to other special interests. UM offers a vibrant atmosphere for education for its academics and students by providing the best supporting facilities. Among them are the library, mosque, health center, sport facilities, and meeting halls which can be used for academic or non-academic activities. UM also manages the Center for Pancasila Studies, Health Center, and Peer Counseling Corner. To implement the three pillars of higher education, UM now has 63 nationally accredited academic journals and a growing number of lectures and students' publications, as well as community service. UM commits to always fostering national and international cooperation and collaborations. One of the cooperation is the 4-in-1 project between UM, the Ministry of Research, Technology and Higher Education, and Islamic Development Bank. The project is to build new towers for shared lecture theaters to achieve UM's mission as the center of excellence in learning innovation. As an education institution existing for 64 years, UM has 100,000 of alumni spread all over the world. They mostly are professional educators for millennial generations who train them to become dynamic, creative, and empathetic future leaders and global citizens.
Senantiasa terus berkembang. Depan, UM berkomitmen untuk menjadi pusat unggulan dalam bidang inovasi belajar.
UM mampu memerankan diri sebagai sumber belajar, tempat belajar, dan inspirator pembelajaran bagi generasi muda.
UM merupakan kampus yang ramah dengan generasi milenial. Bersama UM, saya bisa berkembang. UM bekerjasama membangun bangsa.
Universitas Negeri Malang is always committed to making a better Indonesia. At UM, we learn, do research, serve the community, and contribute to the betterment of Indonesia. UM, the Learning University.
Okay, thank you for the attention. And I still have one video for the activities of student mobility program. Okay, thank you so much for your attention. And in this session of in the end of this session, I will present to you all about our team. Okay. Yeah. Okay. The Office International Affairs, or OIA, is the part of Faculty of Mathematics and Natural Sciences. Uh, OIA itself is organization or institution under the Faculty of Mathematics and Natural Sciences to handle the international affairs such as international collaboration, international student mobility, and international lectures. And this is our OIA teams in 2021. The advisors are Dean and Vice Deans, and our member teams are Mr. Husni Wahyu Wijaya, PhD. He is the head of our OIA team, and Mrs. Dr. Vivi Novianti. She is secretary of our teams, and the members of our OIA team are Mrs. Dr. Desi Rahmadani and Mrs. Ratna Juwita, PhD, and Mr. Indra Fardani, PhD, and Mr. Dr. Cahyot Diaksoro. And sorry, okay. There are some student mobilities in our OIA. First is student mobility in Suranare University of Technology in Thailand in 2018. The activity is about global entrepreneurship camp, and our team are Hilda Rizky Akmalia from chemistry department, and Indah Ramadhania from mathematics department, and Permata Windra Diasmara from biology department, and the last one is Moha Akbar Reno Marsasi from chemistry department. And the other participants comes from USA, Philippines, China, Cambodia, Myanmar, Thailand, and also Indonesia. In this student mobility, we learn about how to develop startup, how to develop a business plan, and in this competition, our team reached second runner-up and honorable mention. And then the second one is international exposure in University Technology Malaysia in Faculty of Education. And the activities are about introduce about schools and teaching and learning about culture, human diversity, study about how to teach and time management, and how to organize game for education. And then the last one is visit museum to observe. And then the third one is student mobility from University of Malaya in 2019. And the activities are more about sharing about activities, and then making soap in chemistry laboratory, and then introducing about UM's museum observation, and making art craft in Asmara Bangun, and then Bromo field trip, and then the last one is watching traditional dance. Okay, and for further information, please visit this website for how to collaborate with our team, and then how to join our activities in the future. Okay, thank you so much for the attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you so much, Dr. Cahyo, for the introduction. And well, everyone, now you can have your snacks or your drink before we move to the lecture session, which is the main agenda of today's event. And also, here I'd like to inform you that there is a shift in schedule of our meeting that will be held on Monday, 30 August 2021. The next meeting will be held on 13 p.m. Western Indonesia or Western Indonesia time or GMT +7. So please be noticed with this change so you can follow it at the right time. Also, I'd like to inform you that the link for the next meeting is still the same with the link which has shared after your registration. Thank you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, now we come to the main agenda, which is the lecture. And the first lecture is going to be about the efforts to utilize chicken feather waste presented by Dr. Suharti from Universitas Negeri Malang. And the second lecture is the metal organic framework design, synthesis, and application presented by Dr. Rerum Naturalium Ubed SFA from Universitas Negeri Malang. So to smoothen the lecture, we'll have our moderator in this session, Dr. Rerum Naturalium Sofatunida, MPD. To Dr. Nida, the time is yours.
Okay, thank you, Mbak Nimel. Okay, bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The Honorable all the keynote speakers, participants, and the committee, thank you for your participation at the International Virtual Lecture on Natural Resources Sustainability, which are organized by the Office of International Affairs, the Faculty of Mathematics and Natural Science, Universitas Negeri Malang. I am Safwatun Nida and very honored to be the moderator for this session. In this session, there will be two lectures. The first one is going to be delivered by Ibu Dr. Suharti, and the second one is by Dr. Ubed Sonai Arozi. And ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce our first keynote speaker. Okay, Ibu Dr. Suharti is an associate professor at Chemistry Department of Universitas Negeri Malang, and she has if you have any inquiry regarding her research and expertise, she can easily reach at her email and phone number. And she finished her bachelor degree in educational chemistry from IKIP Malang in 1990. And then she got her master degree in chemistry in 1997. And in 2005, she achieved her doctoral degree in biotechnology of enzymes from Delft University of Technology. From 2004 until 2010, she took her postdoc about molecular microbiology and enzymology at the Pennsylvania State University, USA. And she has a great number of research experience, either in chemistry or chemistry education. She also has extensive number of publications in national journal, international proceeding, as well as in reputable international journal. And today, Ibu Dr. Suharti is going to talk about efforts to utilize chicken feather waste. I think this is very interesting topic, since we know that chicken is very easy to cook and also a veritable type of animal-based protein for us, especially in Indonesia. And we have plenty dishes made of chicken, such as soto ayam, opor ayam, and other kind of dishes made of chicken. But have we ever thought about the waste from the chicken feather itself, how it can pollute our environment? I think this is a very interesting topic to be addressed. So today, for the next 45 minutes, we're going to listen to the lecture by Dr. Suharti about the efforts to utilize chicken feather waste. And after that, we will continue for the 15-minute discussion. So feel free to write down your question in the chat box during the lecture. And you don't have to wait until the end of the talk to write your question in the chat box. All right, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, please welcome our first keynote speaker, Ibu Dr. Suharti. The floor is yours. Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Today I'm going to talk about the effort of utilization of the feather as a waste, a lot of waste of feather around the world. I'm going to share my presentation. Can you see that my presentation?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I'm not going to talk into detail about the science behind the science, but I'm going to talk lightly, general, because the audience from many backgrounds is not good if I talk too deep about the chemistry itself, but we talk about something general to give you an overview about the people around the world how to utilize chicken feather waste. This is a lecture, but this is part of my lecture for the magister program in here in chemistry department. So this is what I'm going to talk. So before that, I'm going to bring you back to high school probably a little bit just to recall your memory about chemistry just a little bit. This is very famous pictures about the periodic table. But here I only show you which one of the substance in the periodic table which are present in the body of the organism, like human, like animal, plant, microorganism, etc. Not all of the 94 natural substances are present in the body of human or in organism living things. So the green one is present, they are present in the huge amount in our body. And the pink one, they present in the moderate and the, how do you call it, color, maybe peach. They are present in a very little amount, but we should have it in order to complete all of our metabolism in our body. So if our body is atomized, or any organism is atomized, becoming an atom, atoms, they are only containing that the one in color, but the one without showing in this figure, they are not in our body. Now I'm not talking all about that substance because I'm a chemist, so we always start from the periodic table, from the substance. I'm only talking about nitrogen. Nitrogen is one of important substance, and we see here, nitrogen is one of important substance in our body or in our living things, in any living things in the world. Nitrogen. So this is probably you know about nitrogen cycle from biology. Nitrogen, this is about 79% in the air, which we breathe every time. Ironically, we cannot take the nitrogen directly into the body. We only breathe the oxygen.
Now, during the pandemic, the oxygen is very important for supporting living people, life of people who are in the danger situation because of the low oxygen saturation. They are also taking from the air. Using what people do to take nitrogen also from the air. So maybe what you know before from the high school or maybe from biology, nitrogens, before coming to our body, we eat crops, we eat corn, rice, cassava, etc. Also we eat meat from chicken, from beef. But how can this nitrogen on the air, in the air, can come to us like this? It's a long journey. Before people developing science about how to take the nitrogen from the air, nitrogen is fixed by organism. It's called nitrogen fixation microorganism. Yeah. And now they follow, and then it will become ammonia. Then ammonia will become a nitrate, or directly will be absorbed by plant, and they are making amino acids. Amino acids, about 20 amino acids in the world. What has been discovered, and then also they become ammonium. They become it should be N3, not NSTO. Okay, now also coming to the air again through the many ways. One of them is to denitrification, also to the anaerobic ammonium oxidation. But the contribution of science is very, very big. Here, around the Second World War, the person through the Haber-Bosch process, during that moment, because in Europe they have to supply many foods. At that time, scientists try to convert nitrogen in the air. They try to distillate the nitrogen to the from the liquid air, becoming nitrogen liquid, and then they convert it into many fertilizer. And this fertilizer is used to fertilize crops, and then after the Second World War, the growth of human being is until now still how do you call that, very high, very fast. That is how science contribute and how science try to understand how this nitrogens cycle around the world, and it's very important. And now I'm going to talk about part of this. So this is very long journey and very high cost. How many money have to be used for building the company, to pay the officers, also to build the machine, and also transportation, etc. It's really using a lot of money to produce fertilizer and to let people happy around the world, supply with enough of food. Now we are thinking, can we use all of the nitrogen in any sustainable material around the world before we use throw it away? Otherwise, it just throw it away damn it into the soil and become pollutant, etc. So now I'm going to concentrate into what we are going to discuss today. This is about chicken feather. I got this from FAO, from some data, how much the poultry meat produced every year, especially here in 2021 forecast, because it's still forecast before end of the year. So this is about 135.2 million tons around the world. And feather represent about 5 to 7% of total weight mature chickens. This means that it's about 10 million tons annually that are dammed to the soil and become pollutant. Now, can we make use of this feather? And what is feather actually? Now we are going to continue about feather itself. To give you a short review about the feather. So chicken feather, this is the chicken feather to eyes of biochemists as a microscopic level, a big level. And we see here the structure of feather. Feather contains here bark and the other teeth, and also you can see there is a lot of fibers here, and we see we look at the feather a little bit deeper using SEM, scanning electron microscopy. You can see this is fiber in this bark, yeah, this bark like this, yeah, like this, and this one is about the distance from here is about this distance about 5 micrometers. So we can see the structure of this feather really forming what we call fibers like this, and here 100 micrometer, and we see this one like here. So this one is our image about feather, and then we look into a little bit detail. I cannot move my little bit detail. If we go to a submicroscopic level, which is very familiar for chemists or chemistry student, that fibers constructed by twisting of fiber together like this, maybe 2, maybe 3 for feather, only 2 and 3 for the collagen in our skins are different. So yes, there is a twisting of helix structure, and between one and its other is connected by bonding. It's called disulfide bonding between 2 molecules of amino acid. They are called as cysteine. This is the in, and we are connected to a disulfide bond, and this disulfide bond can be reduced, and it will release a free of the twisted helix like this, and then if you degrade it to enzymatic reaction, it will become like coil fiber like this, and then if you continue using another enzyme, it's also becoming less and less in size. So this is the view of chicken feather in the eyes of chemists. Now I'm going to just little bit to show you about little bit into detail in chemistry, just little bit. This is chemistry. This is chemistry structure. So when we see here, we see here as a helix, a twist like this. If we model into a virtual animation, we can see the structure like this. But I'm going to show you a little bit detail about this to show you a little bit about the structure using modeling for the structure. Just a moment. I don't know, I cannot show you something. I will try to start again the program because this is educational version. You can get it for free. The license expired because educational. I have to get the new one. But let's try to open the thing that I downloaded yesterday. This. Okay, this is the visualization of that keratin fibers from the chicken feather. you can demonstrate, you can bring it like this. If you're interested in studying chemistry, for example, then you can play a little bit more. You can show it in a different way. Object and try to show the stick, and then try to hide the cartoon. And then you see, this is very complex structure. Are you still? I'm still on, because I did not see the. I don't see the Zoom.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we try here to see what is this. Okay, now I'm trying to pick up one of molecule. This is a polymer. This is a protein structure. You have many proteins in your body. I will select one of them, and then I will put the label. I will put the label of the atoms, element symbol, and then I try to bring it like this. What is this? See, this the structure. This one I will bring it to center, that you can see clearly. See, this one is molecule. The molecule, this is one molecule connected with other molecule, and this molecule constructed by carbon, oxygen, nitrogen is connected to each other, and this one is called as amino acid. This amino acids, there are 20 amino acids, and they are bound together with another amino acid, and it's the structure or the sequence of this amino acid is depend on our DNA. Yeah, depend on the DNA. If this is keratin or keratin in the feather, it means that it depend on the DNA in the chicken. From the bird, it depends on the bird. So this one is the it's called polymer. They connected to each other like this and becoming complex like this. It's very interesting. This is what chemists doing. They are doing modeling like this. They are trying to change. They are trying to modify and see the effect like this. So this I just want to show you just little about what we are playing in chemistry. Okay, now I come back to this. So it was the modeling from the program. It's called More, and you can play with it. You can get it free with the educational version, and you can play that. And normally I teach my student and undergraduate, also graduate with More to learn about protein structure a little bit better compared to just using the picture on the two-dimensional graph. Okay, now we know chicken feather. It contains this one. It contains a twisted amino acid sequence, and it called as protein. So what? Now we know that chicken, meat, eggs, and also feather, they are all protein. But they have different structure. Because of the fibrous structure of the feather. They don't form like chicken or chicken meat or beef or eggs. However, it is protein, so we can use it for something which is more important or available to use by human or by animal or by a plant or other thing, because it's protein. And to become protein from nitrogen on the air, it has to pass for a long journey. See, before from nitrogen cycle. Now, what can we do? What should we do? And this one is what chemists do. Chemists do, especially biochemists do, to change the material. So this is the sustainable material, right? Because it produced every day from 135.2 million tons every day around the world. And human growing more and more, the amount of chicken consumed every day also becoming more and more. And the waste of chicken feather is also becoming more and more. And how can we use this? I'm not going to tell you about the research on my lab, but I'm going to review all what people do around the world to give you overview. So this is the amino acid. There are 20 amino acids, which are already known the structure, also the physical and chemical characters, and they are whatever protein in the world, in any organism, in human, in plant, in microorganism, in animal, they are all constructed by these 20 amino acids. However, between one and another amino acid, they have a different sequence. For example, insulin. Insulin is a very important medicine for the diabetes. They consist of 30 amino acids with certain sequences. The insulin from human and the insulin from animal is different. From pork, from the pig, they are very close. And before we produce the insulin through the genetic engineering, they are using insulin from pork and also from the horse. So these 20 molecules are very important. And remember, making this is long journey from nitrogen, from carbon dioxide, which are present in the air, through long process, which are carried out by organism, and also human interfere to produce fertilizer from nitrogen by Haber-Bosch process. This is very important Haber-Bosch process. If you remember the lecture of chemistry in high school, there is a reaction nitrogen plus hydrogen becoming ammonia. This is always sample of reaction for many lectures in chemistry, such as in the equilibrium, also in the kinetics, etc. Okay, so this 20 amino acids are building block of proteins. Now, if we have chicken feather and we throw it away to dump it in the soil, that means as we throw a lot of important material. Can we use that? So this little bit giving you a review or overview of the protein, the different protein and different structure. The left one here is the keratin, which is a part of structure, part of the component in the chicken feather, and this one is hemoglobin. The hemoglobin present in the your red blood cells, and also here it for green fluorescent protein, important protein for many biology research, and it is isolate and crystallized into like this from jellyfish. So million of proteins around the world, and they are all constructed from 20 amino acids, and they form different function in your body. It can be antibody. Now, if you remember, now is pandemic COVID-19. Protein is very important. You have to eat enough protein because protein is the component of antibody. Antibody is protein, but protein and antibody, they have different function with the protein hemoglobin, or protein the green fluorescent protein, or protein in the keratin. But they are all coming from 20 amino acids. So you have to supply yourself with enough eggs, enough meat to be able to produce enough antibody to fight with the COVID-19. Okay. So this is just giving you the little bit about what is protein. Because when I come to my class and then I ask the time in the biochemistry class about structure and function of biomolecule, I always ask, what do you know about the protein? What is protein? And then all my class will be just silent. And then, okay, give you any question and answer. And then they will say that they will answer tofu. Okay, eggs. Okay, meat. Okay, so they have a answer like that, very general. from maybe secondary school or primary school, they know that okay, part of our food important is protein, and protein is in the eggs, in the meat, in the tofu, etc. They are not wrong, but they are not deep enough in answering my question. So protein is like this in short description. Okay, now I'm going to inform you about some effort in using chicken feather. I'm only going to describe some of them. One of them is they are making it as a feather meal. So they take the chicken feather from the poultry industry as a waste, and they convert it into feather meal for animal feeds. However, the animal feed cannot be supplemented with a high amount of feather meal. Why? Because if we remember before, between one twist of the helix is connected by disulfide bond, and the animal system for the digestion, also in human, they are not, God did not give us the enzyme which can degrade or cut the disulfide bond. That means if organism consume too much feather meal, they will get sick. But it can be used only maybe 10% or 20% of total animal feed may be supplemented with feather meal because it contains high amount of amino acid, high amount of protein, which is very important in animal feed. So also, yeah, another thing. People also try to convert feather into thermal insulator. Many use for the thermal insulator. It can be purchased as a fabrics. Also, if you live, you stay in a 4-season country with a fall, and then how do you call it? A 4-season. I mean, their house should have enough insulator. So this can be used as an insulator because the original function of feather for the animal is as insulator to keep them warm. And the third, we are going to discuss this one by one, little bit detailed, but not very detailed. But if you have a question, you can ask me later. Converted into carbonized chicken feather through the process it's called pyrolysis, and it's used for the hydrogen storage. Hydrogen can be stored in the form of the chicken feather, pyrolyzed chicken feather, and this process is called pyrolysis. We'll see what is pyrolysis. And then also the converted feather meal might be also the process similar to feather meal. It can be used as the fertilizer with the slow release of nitrogen. This is important for the plant. It needs slow release of nitrogen because if nitrogen too much, for example, for maybe somebody from agriculture background, if nitrogen is too much to release to the soil, maybe the growth of leaves is faster than the growth of the fruit, for example, like that. Then it needs fertilizer which can release nitrogen slowly, and it can be supported by feather from this moment. And that's very amazing. Somebody from Thailand who did a magister degree in London, he changed because basically feather containing about 90% protein. He tried to change the protein in the chicken feather into meal, into gourmet, and he dreamed about having restaurant with zero waste from chicken. And it has this taste as many people, and the taste is just like beef. It's just like chicken, even better. That's what we call. You can try to look at in the YouTube or any other news. Maybe somebody from Thailand in this the audience, they already know about this news in the newspaper or the online news. This is amazing. The last one is amazing. Maybe it can be about how many before? About 10 million of chicken feather can be used for producing meat with the new process. Okay. Now we are talking about that one by one. I don't know, can I move this? Okay. Okay. This is processing feathers, feather mills. This is the machine or the construction for how to change the feather into shredded feather and then making it as powder. Basically, mostly it's done through the hydrolyzing the feather under elevated heat and pressure. That means that we use the pressure and heat step by step increase. From this one is because it's many process, I just give the general process. It hydrolyzes under steam at 140 degrees at high pressure, and then after that they continue steaming it at even higher temperature, and then they drying it and they grilling it and they sieving it to get a size of the similar size through probably through the filter, the sieve machine, and finally they put like this, and then they will analyze if it is about the protein content is about 75% or 80%, then it's better to use it for the use like animal feed or any fertilizer. This is one of industry already. There's a lot of industry like this already, especially in US, yeah? Because in Indonesia, when I have my student doing his intern in one of the animal feed company, they imported this feather meal from US. And the smell is good, like, I don't know how do you call it, abon. Abon is one of famous food in Indonesia. It smells good, but if you get the chicken feather from the poultry industry, it smells very bad. Of course, a lot of material, organisms produce hydrogen, H2S or any sulfur evaporated from feather, then it smells very bad. But when it's already produced like this, they already process it, becoming something that smells good. Okay, now this one. This is very interesting. Somebody from England also, and she is from Germany. They try to change this feather into thermal insulator material. Basically, people around the world also using it to try to blend the powder. They are making powder also, but how to powder the chicken feather is different between one and another place. It is very interesting, and it's one of important research how to powdering the chicken feather itself, through chemical process, to physical process, or maybe to any other process, a combination between all of them. So some people is already make a composite between feather and other resin like synthetic resin, woods, or also use a pure feather. Basically, we just make a powder, physical feather, and then blending it with any other component. And this can be used as this is for insulator, for packaging, for example, and it already from a company called Pluma. they already sell this insulator around the world. Okay, this is the I don't know, micrometer of the pictures, I think. Okay. Now it's a little bit more science in this process. One of the important issue around the world is energy, and hydrogen is one of the important important gas for energy, and a lot of process, some process, and the car, for example, they already using hydrogen as the source. But the difficult thing is hydrogen is a gas. If they store it, like if you have a natural gas, you have to use tube with a high pressure, and it's very dangerous, especially for the people at the rural community. They are not used to it. All the what we call that, the pressure management, like that, they can come to the disaster because they explode. Now chemists try to think how to have material that are able to store hydrogen safely and intensively. And what they try to do, they try to pyrolyze. So basically pyrolyze is the heating the feather, but without oxygen. Because if it is burned with oxygen, it's becoming carbon, or we burn carbon, like if you burn the wood like that. So they don't use they don't burn this under the oxygen atmosphere. Many people try to use different atmosphere, different gas on the surface of the atmosphere of the equipment to burn this feather chicken. Some of them they use nitrogen, some of them use carbon dioxide, and some of them try to use inert gas like argon, but argon is expensive, so they try to avoid it. Normally they use carbon dioxide, which is very cheap. Nitrogen is also relatively cheap. And you see here, when they have seven cycles to change the feather into the material which can absorb hydrogen. The first at 20 hours at 200 centigrade, and then increase a little bit like this, but free of oxygen. When the oxygen is introduced into the system, now the process is damaged, cannot be continued, becoming carbon. Because all will burn into gas, nitrogen oxide, carbon dioxide, and etc. If you see if you remember the reaction in high school for the organic compound is already burned, they always react with oxygen, becoming CO2 and water, and sometimes nitrogen, becoming NO2 or NO. This is the process if there is oxygen around the process. And this is very important. This has been reported to be able to absorb hydrogen at high volume, and it's becoming one of the future technology for the hydrogen storage. Okay, now we continue. Now this is very interesting. A person who called it Sorawut Kiti Banton, I don't know whether I pronounce it right, maybe somebody from Thailand can pronounce it much better than me, who studied for a master student at the Material Futures in London, said, I plan to approach the zero waste restaurant first, because even though these dishes are made from poultry waste, it is still a byproduct from animal. Some people might say, yeah, what is that? I don't want to eat. But somebody already tried to the meat generated from chicken feather. They give a testimony that this is good. You you don't even recognize it is a chicken feather. But this is better than chicken, or better than meat. So yeah, she tried to separate the feather, the good quality of feather, and they basically they process it and they becoming a beef stick like this, but not beef stick, chicken feather stick like this. It's also chicken feather stick, and many people already tried to his lab in Bangkok. Maybe somebody from Thailand can visit also. And one day I dream to come to his lab and to see what is doing. Okay. This is just okay. Yeah, the basic principle of processing chicken feather into meat, into high quality meat, is just cleaning the feather. And the important in all aspects of utilizing the chicken feather is degrade the feather into soluble material, soluble protein. So this is what chemists try to do, or biochemists try to do in this process. The later is up to anybody want to make whatever. And then for his study, he added any ingredient to make it taste good. Make it taste good. And then you can cook it as you wish. Want to make any meat generated meal, steak, or maybe curry, or maybe anything, and as you wish. So this one probably to process this two process is very important. Adding ingredient is very important to give a good taste for any food that is interested or which people like to eat it. This one is very nice. I like this. So, what do we know about chicken feather by now? Before we just see, okay, chicken feather is waste. Now, I want to make a little summary. Maybe some of them I did not tell it before. But number one, chicken feather consists of 90% proteins. Just like in meat, in chicken meat, in eggs. They are all protein. And it highly costs to make protein. Because to make chicken, you have to grow the corn, you have to grow the feed, and then you have to pay a lot of people working on it, and then you harvest it, and then you slaughter it, and then you have to separate anything. They all need money, right? And number two, it is. I'm sorry, I forgot to use it, but nobody tell it. Okay, it is in the form of fibrous protein. And then it does not, this is the important, which is important for chemists to deal with it. It does not dissolve in water or organic solvent. It's abundant waste from poultry industry and very cheap. Industry likes with the cheap material and changing it into something more valuable. That is industry what wants. Okay, it can be degraded by combination of steam, heat, and pressure. It also can be degraded by enzyme. It calls Catalysis. This enzyme is one of my my toys every day here with my student, how to get the enzyme from the nature and to try to degrade the keratin from feather to make it powder or to make it soluble and change it into material. And it can be hydrolyzed by adding strong of acid or basic. Sorry, this is fun is losing. So this is very important knowledge that we already know about chicken feather after the long journey of science. Okay, before we don't know, okay, chicken feather is just throw it away, there is no use. Or maybe in Indonesia, they use it as a shuttlecock. Indonesia have one of the important
sport, which is called badminton, and badminton using shuttlecock, which is used from chicken feather. And also in Indonesia or maybe in another country, chicken feather, they are using it as a duster. That's it. Now science contribute more to understand what is chicken feather, and then can we use it for the better and valuable material. We know now as chicken feather is a sustainable material. It can be produced every day, and it's containing this all important protein in every body of organism, and it can process for many use for human being. Okay. So the key of chicken feather utilization is degradation and extraction of keratin. Keratin is the name of the protein in this chicken feather. And this keratin is protein, just like eggs, just like meat, and just like a beef or chicken meat. That is very. Only they have a different structure, becoming very strong, doesn't dissolve in water, doesn't dissolve in organic compounds, etc., and becoming a good insulator for the chicken like this. So that is important. Now this is sorry, this is coming back before. Keratin extraction method, I'm not going to talk it into detail. We can discuss it after that if you have a question. There are 3 categories in the extraction method of keratin. The first is using acid or basic, a very strong acid or basic with very high concentration. Normally for acid, it's about 6 molar of hydrochloric acid. And this one might be about the same molar of sodium hydroxide. And one of my students tried to use it. Also, they can also degrade it by enzymatic hydrolysis. I learned from somebody in the Malaya, University of Malaya. We have a collaboration with University of Malaya. They are also trying to solubilize chicken feather using a substance it's called ionic liquid. Ion but liquid. Before we only know the ion is mostly or solid, like salt we use in our kitchen. That there's ionic, also there is ion molecule. And the last, which is already used for a long time, is degrading chicken feather using steam, pressure, and heat combination together. And also start from maybe this is 2009 or 2010, somebody from the University of Delaware, United States, they tried to change this chicken feather into a hydrogen storage. Okay, now maybe I don't use all of my time. I'm just trying to tell you a little bit what I'm doing in my lab with my student, biochemistry lab activity at the chemistry department of on chicken feather research. This is my group, and maybe the only group of feather in this university. We are trying to convert the chicken feather into bioplastic. Also, we are trying to change the chicken feather into fertilizer, and also converting it into absorbents to use many process in the wastewater management, because amino acid, if you see before, they have many groups which are capable to make different binding with many materials, and it offers many interaction with many material which are very important to use it, for example, as a filter for the wastewater management. For example, like color from batik industry, from fiber, from clothes industry, or maybe from also from how do you call that leather industry, they release a lot of chrome, and we use also this chicken feather as adsorbent to absorb chrome. And also lately we learn to use this chicken feather to make glue, especially for wood. It's not succeed yet. We still try to increase the speed of degradation, because the most important is degradation. So this is some of my students' work. They are trying to convert the chicken feather here, becoming a soluble chicken feather. This is after one day incubation under acid degradation, 6 molar, and then this one is after 6 days. The color becoming like this. The more they incubated like this, the more the darker the color. And this one is one of my this one is done by my graduate student. This one also by my graduate student, who are converting chicken feather solid into liquid using it calls as ionic liquid. The ionic liquid is it has a very big structure, and it's liquid at the room temperature. Unlike salt is ionic, but it's solid in the room temperature. But ionic liquid, it's liquid at the room temperature, and it's very efficient, this one. However, using this ionic liquid, it's a little bit difficult to remove the impurities. The leftover of ionic liquid, it is difficult. It's easier to separate it, just adding water, they will just separate it. However, not 100% of ionic liquid can be separated from the hydrolyzed or from solubilized keratin. And this one also from graduate student, together with undergraduate student, they try to degrade the feather from keratin using so-called a solid state fermentation. So this one is feather, and then after I don't know, they did it maybe 10 days or sometimes 5 days, depending on the microbe they use. And then after that, they filter it, and then they collected or degraded feather, producing feather like that. And if we see through the scanning electron micrograph, this fiber is still the fiber shape is like this. This one is the fiber from this one. So this is what we are doing in our lab. I think this is what I can tell you for this lecture. Also, one other important thing, we are trying to because I'm biochemist, and then we also I'm also interested in the enzyme production. The protease basically is important enzyme that I use for the degradation of the chicken feather, but I'm also using for other aims, other purposes. So my group here in Universitas Negeri Malang at the chemistry department, we try to explore of as much possible microorganisms from Indonesia. Indonesia is like Brazil, for example, it has a mega diversity of microorganisms. We try to find microorganisms from exotic place, here just from soil of our garden or our sawah here in Indonesia. And then we have a place, maybe if somebody already in Indonesia, they can come, it's called a mud volcano. This is located in the border between West Java and East Java. It's called Berdukuwu. This is explodes something like this, and then around this we try to take the sample here, the mud, and bring it to the lab and culture the microorganism here and try to analyze it and try to see the production of protease, and then use it for the production of chicken feather, soluble chicken feather. Also, we have in East Java a lot of how to call salt pond. I'm sorry, this is in Bahasa Indonesia, a salt pond. So this is people around along the coast of North Java, they try to collect the seawater and then evaporate it and producing salt. They have many ponds, and we took the water from many pond with a different salt concentration, and then we culture it on the media in the lab, and then we analyze or we studies the microbes which are grown in on the media. And also lately we start also to isolate the microorganism from pit soil. Sorry, this is also in Indonesia still. Pit soil, tanah gambut kalau bahasa Indonesia ya. This is pit soil. The pit soil is soil which is generated from long-term degradation of wood, of leaf, with maybe already hundreds year like that, and it's very acidic. And we hope they also have a microorganism which produce the protease, which is stable in low pH. But however, we did not get that microorganism by now. We get the microorganism, but the protease is not stable under low pH. But for the stability just at normal pH, or even some of them at high pH, about around 9, 8 until 10. And then we also use the microorganism or the protease produced by this microorganism into several process. This one by undergraduate student, they tried to use the protease to dehair the leather for the leather processing industry, because normally they use lime. Also they use hydrogen sulfide, nitrogen sulfide, sodium sulfide, which is very smell and cause bad for the environment. So they try to we try to change this sodium sulfide and lime with the enzyme, and it's very good. However, we have now to fight with the stability of the enzyme, because the enzyme is very easily degraded after a couple of hours or days. And then we are now trying to how to stabilize the protease and even make it as a lyophilized enzyme, and maybe it can be sold in the future. And another student tried to degrade skin from this skin into gelatin. The gelatin in Indonesia, a lot of people in Indonesia, we are a Muslim, and it's Muslim country. We don't use the gelatin which is produced from pork. So in Indonesia, maybe in Malaysia or another Muslim country, they try to make gelatin. Is a good gelatin material, but we wanted to have it from halal material. So one of our work is to produce the gelatin from skin of the this one is from goat, making gelatin. But this is under process. We combine the chemical process, which is acidic or basic process, with enzymatic process to get a high yield of gelatin. Because using acidic process, it can only produce about 10 to 20% of total skin to become gelatin, and we try to improve it using the enzyme, and hopefully we can get a high yield, maybe 50% or 60%, but we still don't know yet. We are still working on it. And this one is one of the film. It is produced from feather, yeah. This one is not from feather, but this one from CMC, carboxymethyl cellulose, and this combined with the keratin, soluble keratin, and they process it, and it is promising to get the film like that, and it can be combined maybe later with many pesticides or many other something to make it stronger character and making bioplastic. And maybe we can use it to make a pot, to grow the plant, and then or maybe to make the plastic for cultivating the seed to produce the the plant, and then if we want to use it, we don't need to take it out from the bag, from the poly bag, but we just glue it together, we put it in the soil, and then it will be degrade within 10 days. It's reported within 10 days already becoming soil, this one. And then this we tried also to grow the pak choy using chicken feather fertilizer. But the growth is still relatively low. However, it contains more chlorophyll compared to the compost, because chlorophyll, to build chlorophyll, it needs proteins. And then feather, because it's protein and containing a lot of nitrogen and amino acid, it help the plant to grow better, to produce a better of chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B. Okay. Okay, I think that's what I can give you today, and I'm open to many questions for next session. I
Okay,
give the time to
yes,
moderator.
ma'am. Thank you very much, Ibu Dr. Suharti, for the very interesting and insightful talk. So behind the chicken dish that we serve for our daily meals, there's a story of the feather waste that needs to be addressed, and Ibu Dr. Harti has presented the need for to minimize the waste by utilizing the chicken feather waste. Actually, I myself now see the feather no more as a waste, but a source of amino acids that can be converted into other useful, valuable materials, such as, like you said, the feather meal for animal feed, and also fertilizer, insulator, even gourmet. So look forward to it, ma'am. Okay, now we have some questions already in the chat box. The first one is from Ranum Mailina from Universitas Negeri Surabaya. Okay, you said before, to manage the feather waste must using complex and specific utilities. We also know we are still facing this pandemic situation, and mostly of us still in the home. So what is the simple way to manage the feather waste we can do at home? That's the question from the first question, ma'am. From
Should I
Ranum.
answer directly?
Yes, ma'am, please.
Okay. So the best way is to make it as fertilizer. It's easy. However, it is a little bit difficult, because if you use it directly from, for example, you take it from the market, it will grow worm, a lot of worm, and it's not good, because it some of the, how do you call it, flies, it will give the eggs, and it will because flies like the leftover, not they don't eat the chicken feather, but they eat the remaining skin, for example, or blood, because normally it's formed together, or it's dumped together with the chicken feather. So if you want to use if you really want to use, you have to degrade it under little bit anaerobic situation. So you can mix it with any house waste, for example, from kitchen. There is a lot of vegetable waste, and then you can mix it, put some water, but you have to keep it anaerobic, very little oxygen, to not allow the worm from the flies to grow, because it's not good. Okay. So like that, maybe the best way is just to use it as fertilizer and increase the nitrogen content of your fertilizer. Because if you make the fertilizer, the humus, how to call it, I don't know what is in English. If you compost, maybe compost. If you make compost from the leftover kitchen vegetable, for example, it's mostly carbon and oxygen and hydrogen. But if you had chicken feather, you increase the concentration of nitrogen, and it's good for the fertilizer. That's maybe if what I can answer, Miss Nida.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Very interesting. Okay, the second question is from Hanif Nur Rozak from Chemistry Magister Program Institute Malang. He wants to ask about Indonesian people generally consume boiler chicken and free range chicken or ayam kampung in Indonesia, so that it contributes to the fair waste, especially in animal slaughtering houses. Do they have different chemical content in their fodder? Because I think they have different physical characteristic. And then if in the process of decomposing the feathers of the two chickens that contains keratin, especially by using microorganism or biodegradation, do they have the same rate of biodegradation?
Okay, basically the component of the of chicken feather are same, whether it's a color or is it not. The percentage of the keratin is about 90%. Some people saying that 89% or until 90%. Of course, there is a lot of difference between one and another feathers, especially color. They have a different color. For example, if you see the peacock, they have also different color, the beautiful colors. Also, many lovebird also they have a different color. To do the compounds normally for secondary metabolic compound like alpha-xanthin. I forgot what is the name actually. Like that, we give the color, but it doesn't disturb the fermentation process at this. Maybe even helping the fermentation process. We don't know. I'm not really sure, but maybe you can try to work with color chicken feather, whether it's because later they will give different color, of course, a little bit. Because we can also make it from our hairs even. However, hairs a little bit difficult, and hairs also keratin. And hair is important for the cosmetics company. They make keratin for ingredient of many shampoos and many things, and it made from our hairs. Sometimes also from chicken feather to have a additive in our shampoo. Okay, that's maybe what I can answer.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. It's really interesting, and it's chemistry, it's science. Sometimes chemistry is always associated with something that we always do in the lab, but yes, of course, we cannot be far away from lab when dealing with chemistry or other major of science. But actually, I can see that there is a very close connection between what is being studied in the lab and also the issue of sustainability, the environmental as well as a societal aspect of our life. So thank you very much for the very inspiring talk, Ibu Dr. Suharti, and look forward for other inspiring talk from you. So ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of our session by Ibu Dr. Suharti. Let us give a big applause and appreciation for Ibu Dr. Suharti from Chemistry Department of Universitas Negeri Malang. Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Yes, you're welcome, ma'am. And for all the participants, I would like to remind you to fill in the attendance list, because in every lecture session, there will be an attendance list that needs to be filled in, and you will get the certificate only if you filled in all the attendance list. Okay, now we go to the next session. Let us start the next lecture by Dr. Ubed Sonai Arozi. Okay, allow me to introduce our second lecturer. Dr. Ubed Sonai Arozi is a young and highly qualified lecturer and researcher at Chemistry Department of Universitas Negeri Malang. His research interests are in the field of porous materials and its composites for application in catalysis, energy storage, and gas separation. He also has a big interest in the fabrication of functional nanoporous structure. And Dr. Ubed got his bachelor degree in chemistry from State University of Malang in 2011, and he got his master degree in chemistry from Bandung Institute of Technology in 2014. And he achieved his doctoral degree in inorganic chemistry from Technische University Dresden in 2019. And in addition to PhD researcher at Institute of Inorganic Chemistry, Technische University Dresden, he also had research experience in Holzzentrum Dresden, Rosendorf, und Leibniz Institute for Vascular, and it has great number of publications in reputable international journals such as Towards Highly Active and Stable Nickel-Based Metal Organic Frameworks as Ethylene Oligomerization Catalyst. And now, for the next 45 minutes, Dr. Ubed will talk about metal organic framework, design, synthesis, and application, and it will be followed by 15-minute discussion. So I also would like to invite all the participants who want to ask questions. Feel free to post your question in the chat box during the lecture. All right, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, please welcome our second keynote speaker, Dr. Ubed Sonai Fahrudin Arrozi. The stage is yours.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Nida, for the kind introduction. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, welcome to Science Camp 2021, held by Faculty of Mathematics and Natural Science, State University of Malang. And thank you again for having me here today. This is very afternoon, and maybe some of you feel tired or something like that. I hope you will enjoy some of the presentation that we will give it to you. All right, let me share my slide to you. I hope you can see my slides.
It's
right.
Clearly seen.
Yeah, okay, thank you. So the topic today that I'm going to deliver to you is metal organic frameworks. This is my expertise in chemistry. So what we're going to learn is how to design metal organic frameworks, how to make it, or how to synthesize it, and what type of application that can be used, that can use such materials. Yeah. So there is three things: design, synthesis, and application. But let me introduce you to metal organic frameworks by the news from CNEN Group. Okay. In the CNEN News Group, usually there is a chemistry trend that we need to know in each year. Last year, in 2020, there is a list of progress in chemistry that really need to know. For example, in 2020, the editor picks one of the metal organic frameworks manuscript entitled "A Morph-Based Water Harvester." So this in this publication, they use metal organic frameworks to harvest water in the humid air. So we can take some water in the air. This is really astonishing. Back to 2019, the trend is from CNEN Group also pick metal organic frameworks as the astonishing publication. In this case, the battery technology is one of the applications that can use metal organic frameworks and covalent organic frameworks. In this case, Morph as the material to as directional charge carriers. So we can use these materials in battery technology. As we already know that battery is one of the future materials that always can be used, always in demand. We use battery in our mobile phone. In Tesla, for example, we can use in car, in our laptop, in everything. We need us to store electricity. And one of the most exciting material is the battery. So Morph can also be used in battery. So we're going to start from the application. Yeah, but let me show you what topic that we what topic that we going to learn in this presentation. There is 7 topic that we going to highlight. First is porous materials. Maybe some of you already know about what is porous materials and what is non-porous materials. And the second one is the history of metal organic frameworks. Of course, everything has history. The third one is the principle of metal organic frameworks. So, we need to know the principle, because if we know the principle of metal organic frameworks, then we know how to use it, right? And the fourth one, how to make it, meaning that's how to synthesize it and how to characterize it. Characterization means we can identify that the Morph that we make is already formed or not. So we need to characterize every Morph that we make. Number 5 is the early and current development of metal organic frameworks. So there is a progress in this type of materials. The 6 is modification of metal organic frameworks. And the 7, the last one, is the potential application. So we're gonna learn about these 7 topic today. Right, start from the porous material. Some of you already know what is porous materials. So in the first picture here, we see that this is non-porous materials. So there is no pore in this solid. We call it a solid, right? Okay, if this non-porous solid, so this means the solid has low specific surface area and has low specific pore volume. So very low specific surface area and low specific pore volume. But for porous solid, this is the second one. We see that there's a pore inside the structure. The porous solid has high specific surface area and so high specific pore volume. Indeed, because there is a pore inside the structure. Right. In our daily life, we see there are many porous solid we can find in our environment. For example, in our bones consists of hydroxyapatite that can form a porous structure, and another one is zeolite. So we can the one, maybe some of you from the mining department or geologists, you already know maybe some of the zeolite can be found in the nature, and the zeolite is also one of the example porous solid that can be found in nature. But zeolite also can be synthesized in the lab. Yeah, we can make zeolite in various structure in the lab. For example, we need to react aluminum source with silica source to form various structure of zeolite. And the structure of the zeolite is also contains some pores. We can see here, the 4 picture here, all of them has pores. Yeah. The second one, all right. Second one is called Cofoli organic frameworks. So the structure or the frameworks only contain organic moiety. The organic moiety is linked by covalent bonding. For example, the boronic acid with phenyl group here. So there is phenyl ring, and then the boronic acid moiety can form boronate anhydride. And this type of materials in this type of bonding can form a 3D structure of covalent organic frameworks. Another example is reacting amine functional group with benzene ring with aldehyde functional group in a benzene ring. And we can form with this type of reaction to form amine formation. Yeah, this type of reaction can also form a 3D structure with pores inside the structure. Yeah, this is the covalent organic frameworks. But what we gonna learn now is the metal organic frameworks. As from the name, we can see that the metal organic frameworks is consisted from metals, consists from organic, and the structure itself forming a frameworks. So if you look at in this picture, the blue one is the metal one. So the metal cluster. The metal cluster is connected by the organic moiety called organic linker. Yeah, and the result is the structure with frameworks and 3D structure with pores. Yeah, the yellow balls here is the dummy ball, explaining that this space is empty. So there is a pore inside the structure of metal organic frameworks. Okay. The history of Morph is started from 59. So the name of this material is not Morph. It's all in 59 they call it as coordination polymer. Yeah. For example, from Japanese scientists, they reacted copper ions with malonitrile, and then they form a 3D structure like this one. Yeah. And each of copper ion is connected by the malonitrile organic ligands to form a 2D type of structure. And if we replace the malonitrile with the propionitrile, like this structure, so we can form a different type of structure using copper as well. So we can form a different type of structure with only replacing the organic moieties. Yeah. And then the progress made also in the 1995 from the Japanese scientists. They reacting copper ions with bipyridine organic moiety. So the nitrogen here, the nitrogen will coordinate to the copper, and the nitrogen in the bottom here will coordinate to another copper. And as a result, the 3D structure is formed. So for example, here we can see that the copper between two copper is coordinated or linked by the bipyridine organic ligands. Yeah. And as the result, the 3D structure with pore inside the structure is formed. Right. The name of metal organic frameworks is known from Professor Yagi group from UC Berkeley, United States. So they call it such materials as metal organic frameworks, or we call it as MOFs. Yeah. But other scientists, for example, Professor Joe's group from Texas E&M, call this material as PCN. The PCN standing from porous coordination networks, and others call it as PCP, porous coordination polymers. And another scientists also call it as the university name. For example, Professor Krakel group from the Germany call this type of material as DUT, or Dresden University of Technology. Or maybe from the Hong Kong call it as HCAS, Hong Kong University of Science and Technology. This means that if you, for example, if you choose in your final thesis or wherever, if you choose metal organic framework as your field, and then you synthesize the MOF, and the MOF is new or novel, you can name it as your name. For example, your name is Valencia. You can name it as FL numbers X, for example. So this is as our own. Yeah, depend on our own. Right. Okay. So in general, in the principle, the metal organic frameworks is formed by metal ions and organic ligands. For example, if we're reacting metal ions and organic ligands, and it will form a called secondary building unit, or SBU. And if this SBU expanded into X, Y, and Z axis, it will form a 3D structure with pore inside the structure. Yeah. I will give you some example. It's called Morph5. Morph5 is one of the famous example in metal organic frameworks. So the scientists from Professor Yagi's group reacted a zinc nitrate or zinc ion with benzene or with terephthalic acid. So the terephthalic acid contain the carboxylate, 2 carboxylate in each ends. Yeah. This carboxylate moiety can coordinate to the zinc cluster. And as the result, the secondary building unit will be formed. The secondary building unit will form as the zinc cluster is connected by the terephthalic acid or terephthalate. Yeah, the zinc cluster here. Yeah, the zinc cluster here contain 4 zinc ions. This is 4 zinc ions, and in between of 4 zinc ions is the oxygen. And this one, the one with the linking between the zinc ions, also this carboxylate from the organic ligands. And if the SBU expand into the X, Y, and Z axis, it will form a very beautiful structure with a pore inside the structure. Yeah, this is the 3D structure of Morph, or zinc-based metal organic frameworks that contain a pore inside the structure. Okay. As we know that metal organic framework consisting of metal ions and organic ligands. So as a scientist from organic chemists, for example, can synthesize different type of organic ligands. For example, the very simple one is the benzene dicarboxylic acid. We can buy it in several chemical store, because we can use this terephthalic acid as a PET, or polyethylene terephthalic. Yeah. The simple one is terephthalic acid, but we can also modify this organic ligand with inserting some functional group, for example, bromine or amine or other type of ester. So we can modify the organic ligands to make a beautiful structure and for specific application. Another direction also by elongate the organic ligands. For example, if we use the terephthalic acid, we only have one benzene ring. If we use biphenyl dicarboxylic acid, we use the 2 phenyl ring, meaning the structure will be bigger in the pore size. And another side, if we use 3 phenyl ring, yeah, like this one, the 3 phenyl ring, the Morph structure will also have a bigger pore size. As the result, we can see here, if we use benzene ring, only one benzene ring, the pore size is considerably small. But if we use the 2 phenyl ring, the pore size is bigger. Remember that this yellowish balls is dummy ball. Dummy ball meaning that there is empty space inside. Yeah. If we use 3 phenyl ring here, we can have a bigger size of pore, meaning that we can modify the structure of Morph of our own. Yeah. Another astonishing example is the metal organic framework consisting of copper metal cluster. The metal cluster is formed as chain here, and also the organic ligand is deoxydoterephthalate. Yeah, so this is benzyl ring, and there is 2 carboxylate at the end, and then there is a hydroxyl group here. So if we react the copper ion with this type of organic ligand, we can get the Morph with the structure here, in the pore size only 14 Armstrong or 10 Armstrong here. But if we use 6, if we use 6 benzene ring like this one, we can form a very big pore size. You can compare this one, the 14 Armstrong or 10 Armstrong, with this such of very big pore size. Another important finding, if we use 11, you can use 11 benzene ring here. Yeah, in each end there is a carboxylate to coordinate with the metal ions. We can get very big pore size. With such type of metal organic frameworks, we can store anything. Anything means the one with the suitable size. For example, we can store protein inside the structure. It's very beautiful. Yeah. So this is the principle of metal organic frameworks. Remember that we can use different type of metal ions, different type of organic ligands, so we can have various or structure of metal organic frameworks. For example, the pedal wheel structure of pedal wheel type of metal cluster. Here is the 2 metal ions coordinated to carboxylate from the benzene 3 carboxylate will form such type of structure. Yeah, we can use copper or zinc in this case. But if we use zinc or manganese with imidazole organic ligand, this is imidazole, yeah, we can have a different structure. This is the structure of ZIF71, zeolitic imidazole framework. So this is very different from the one with the copper and 3 carboxylate ligand. So different type of cluster, different type of ligand will result a different type of structure. Yeah. Or maybe the Morph 5 that we learned before. The Morph 5 can can be formed by zinc or titanium or vanadium or chromium or manganese or iron. We can use this amethyl ion to form such type of metal cluster. And if we use such type of organic ligand, that is terephthalic acid, we can get a 3D structure, 3D structure with pore inside. So it's very different. It's very many structure that can be formed. Or maybe you can use zirconium or titanium or hafnium. The zirconium, titanium, and hafnium, if we react it with the terephthalic acid, the one with very simple organic ligand here, such this one, will form this this type of structure. The 3D structure with a metal cluster is very complicated here. There is six, yeah, there's six zirconium ions inside this metal cluster. Or you can synthesize metal organic framework from biosources. For example, adenine. Yeah, adenine. We can use adenine as the organic ligand. For example, reacting with the zinc, forming the structure this one, like honeycomb. It's very beautiful structure. And etc. Yeah, and so on and so forth. Different type of metal cluster, different type of organic ligand can form various structure of metal organic frameworks. So we are designer of our materials. Yeah, we can design everything that is possible in metal organic frameworks. So this is a graph showing how many publication or how many structure of Morph that is reported in the scientific publication. As we see that from 1970 is increasingly up to 2012. Yeah. So many metal organic framework structure or novel Morph is invented or discovered in each year, and each year is increasing exponentially. And the most used metal organic ligand is the one with carboxylate organic ligand. This is the red bar is the Morph with carboxylate ligand. This is half of the metal organic frameworks is reported using carboxylate organic ligands. Yeah. This is another metal organic frameworks with different atomic donor. Yeah. Usually they are using a carboxylate, but here they are using nitrogen, or we can call it as imidazole. Different type of imidazole can be used. For example, the one without a functional group, and the one with methyl functional group, and the one with the aldehyde functional group, and the one with the nitrosyl functional group. We can use it. We can use it or utilize it as the organic ligand to form metal organic frameworks. For example, by reacting zinc 2+ ions with the imidazole organic ligand, and we can form a beautiful structure. And the structure itself is resembling to zeolite. That's why the name of these materials is called zeolitic imidazolate framework, or ZIFs. So the structure of zeolite usually formed by Se, silica, and oxygen and silicon here. And then the angle is resemble to the one with the organic ligand in the ZIF structure. That's why it's called as ZIF materials. So this is nitrogen, and the previous one is the carboxylate. Another type of organic ligand that can be used is Catecholat-Based metal organic frameworks. Such organic ligands only contain, there is no carboxylate, there is no nitrogen, but only oxygen here. Two oxygen that can readily give their electron to the metal ions. And if we react this one with iron or titanium or vanadium, we can have a very beautiful structure with pore inside. It's called titanium Cat5. The cat usually is the name of university. Yeah. Or we can use a different donor atom in one organic ligand. For example, here is the one with carboxylate. The another end is catecholat. Another end with oxygen and nitrogen. So we can form a metal organic framework with such type of organic ligand. So it's mixed atomic donor. We can use it as a ligand in the formation of metal organic frameworks. So one of the most important thing, how to make it. Yeah, how to make it. There are 5 methods in synthesizing metal organic frameworks. One is conventional heating, but in principle, we need to react metal ions and the organic ligand, and then we mix it, and then we put it in the heating. For example, in the oven, we put it in the oven. In the solvent, for example, we reacting zinc nitrate with terephthalic acid as the organic ligand, and the solvent is, for example, dimethyl formamide or DMF, or we can use also water, and then put it in oven using conventional heating, and then after 1 days, you can see that the MOF is formed. Another method is microwave assisted heating. We can use a microwave in our kitchen, for example. We put it the solution of metal organic frameworks and then put it in the microwave and heat it, for example, 5 minutes. You can get the MOF. It's very simple. And the third one is electrochemistry. By electricity, we can form metal organic frameworks. The fourth one is mechanochemistry. In this type of method, in synthesis method, we usually put the metal salts and the organic ligands, and we put some liquid. Yeah, this is called liquid assisting mechanochemistry. So the balls inside the machine will be shaken, and the reaction will take place because the collision between the balls. Yeah. And the last one is sonochemistry. So this is using ultrasonic as the heat source to give heating to the reaction solution. So we can form a MOF with sonochemistry. And how to characterize it? Of course, we need to characterize to know that the MOF is already formed or not. The first one that is really important in X-ray diffraction. Maybe some of you already use it, or some of you already know it. So X-ray diffraction is to elucidate the structure, is to determine the structure. So, for example, we have a single crystal. This is the example of single crystal. So we put it inside the machine, and then there is a diffraction pattern that we can determine the structure of the metal organic frameworks. Or we can get a powder. The powder from, for example, the powder is not single crystal. We can also use the single X-ray diffraction to determine the structure. Yeah. The second one is the SEM, or scanning electron microscope. What is used for? This is used for particle size, particle morphology. So as we know, if we get powder, for example, sands or powder, very tiny particle, we can see the morphology or the shape of the crystal by using SEM. For example, here we have around 2 micrometer particle, and we can clearly see the morphology and the size of the particle. This is called scanning electron microscopy. The third one is gas absorption. This is also important since the metal organic framework is porous materials. So gas absorption, for example, we can use nitrogen and carbon dioxide. We can determine the surface area of the MOF, and also we can also determine the pore size. Yeah? We can determine the pore size. We can determine the surface area of the MOF by using nitrogen as the gas source or the carbon dioxide as the gas source. Another one using gas absorption is hydrogen or methane. We can examine how many or how much the hydrogen molecule is absorbed into our MOF, or how much the methane molecule is absorbed into our MOF. So we can use the gas absorption machine like this one to determine the surface area, pore size, and also gas uptake. The last one is thermographimetric analysis. This tools is used for thermal stability examination. As we already know that MOF is contains organic ligands, means the organic ligands is not really stable in high temperature. So we need to assess, we need to examine their thermal stability. And usually metal organic framework stable up to 300 into 450 degrees Celsius. So we use TGA to examine the thermal stabilities. So this 4 characterization tool is the basic characterization tool to examine our metal organic framework that is synthesized either in the lab or somewhere else. Yeah. Okay, we can produce Morph in our lab. For example, in the chemistry lab, there are some tools that we use to synthesize metal organic frameworks. But the picture here I show you is the metal organic frameworks that is produced in the BASF. BASF is one of the leading chemistry company that distribute many chemicals. Yeah, this is the one, the Morph that is produced by BASF. Usually, the Morph is very tiny, very fine powder like this one. So very fine powders. For application, they always shape it into such picture. Yeah, they shape the fine powder into a particular shape and put it in some places like this one to be stored. So this is the application of metal organic framework that are usually used. The one in TU Dresden, the university where I performed my study, produce metal organic framework as a filter. So this is a filter where in between there is a metal organic frameworks throughout the filter layer. So we can use this prototype as the filter in for example in gas separation or gas storage and in etc. Or we can also use such tools to put to as the storage of metal organic frameworks. Yeah. And so this is a kind of example that we can use in application of metal organic frameworks. So since Morph is very astonishing materials and many scientists and many businessmen looking into this type of materials, so there are some startup company around the world that perform or produce metal organic frameworks. For example, ProMorph or Morphwork, or in TU Dresden, we call it as material centers. And Morph Technologies is from Europe and Sweden, and from Mosaic Company is from United States, and New Map also from United States. So there are other startup company that also produce metal organic frameworks as the basic materials that is sold. Yeah. Okay. Now next to the early development of metal organic frameworks, this picture is the picture of structure metal or Morph5. Yeah, this is Morph5. So the surface area of the Morph5 is 2,900 meters square per gram. This is really high. To put in the context, you can see that the ultrafort, yeah, maybe some of you are football fans. You may know that the ultrafort, yeah, or the ultrafort stadium, the area is around 3,000 meters square per meter square. This means the 1 gram of Morph5, the surface area is equal to the surface area of ultrafort. This is really high, really high. Yeah. So in the early development, scientists tried to break record of the highest surface area of the Morph. For example, here you can see zeolites from the nature is around 800 meters square per gram. The surface area is around 800 meters square per gram. Or silicas is around 100,000, yeah, around 1,000 meter square per gram. Or porous carbon, for example, they break the record around 1,500 meters square per gram. The Morph5 itself, yeah, here is the Morph5, is 2,900. This is in the year of 2004. But in 2012, the breaking record is NU 110. The NU is stand for Northwestern University in the United States. The surface area is up to 7,000. You may imagine it. 7,000 is equal more than twice of the ultrafort stadium. This is really high surface area. In our group, in our previous group in Germany, in DUT 49, they break the record at 5,500. It's really high surface area. So this is the early development of Morph, where scientists try to break the record of ultra high porous Morph, porous Morph. Yeah. Another one, as we know that Morph contain the organic ligands, So they try to modify the organic ligand with organic reaction. I will give you some example. For example, here, yeah, metal organic frameworks that using bipyridine decarboxylate, there is a nitrogen in between. There is two nitrogen in between. From inorganic chemistry, we can directly use this type of moiety as the organic ligand into certain metal. For example, we can reacting this MOF with palladium chloride and resulting metal organic frameworks with palladium chloride inside the structure. And what is it for? This material containing palladium chloride can be used as catalyst. As we know, the palladium is very expensive metals and can be used in various organic transformation. Or another type of reaction, we can change the bromine. See, this is the MOF with terephthalic acid organic ligand, and there is also bromine functional group. We can change the bromine here with cyanide to form cyanide by reacting this MOF with copper cyanide. So very simple reaction. And another one, for example, here in the left-hand side, we see that the metal cluster has a vacant site to be coordinated. For example, here, the metal cluster is reacted with the pyridine, yeah, with pyridine. And the pyridine will coordinate to the metal cluster. This is very simple reaction. And we can also try to react our metal organic frameworks with various organic reaction and to form very beautiful structure. And this is the one that we work in during my study. This is metal organic framework with the zirconium cluster. So there is a vacant site, meaning there is a hydroxyl group that can coordinate something. Yeah, that coordinates something. If we put, for example, here acetate, yeah, acetate here, we coordinate into the zirconium cluster. So the MOF the resulted MOF will attract some water. So this is cone angle. So this is water put on the top of the metal organic framework. So they attract the water. But if we change the organic ligand with the one with a lot of fluorine functional group here, so we can make this MOF into hydrophobic MOF, meaning that they tend to repulse the water. So we can modify our MOF to form a hydrophobic MOF or hydrophilic MOF by only changing the organic ligands. So this is very beautiful strategy to make hydrophobic or hydrophilic metal organic frameworks. Right. Now we go into application. What kind of application that we can use with these materials? So MOF can be used as gas storage. As we know that MOF is a porous material, and the pore of the metal organic frameworks can be used to store gases, or such as carbon dioxide or hydrogen, or if we have a big enough of pores, we can store protein. So it's very a lot of application that can be used this metal organic frameworks. So the one with this the picture here, I will show you the MOF 177. If we store carbon dioxide, if we have a gas cylinder like this one, yeah, if we have a gas cylinder and put some MOF 177, this is zinc based MOF, yeah, the zinc based MOF, and we put it inside. So we can put carbon dioxide as much as 9 bottles of carbon dioxide, meaning we can have a lot of carbon dioxide in only one gas cylinder. And what is it for? We can use this kind of material to store such as hydrogen or methane. We can store hydrogen in very high volume with only one gas cylinder. For example, here in Berlin, BASF already use hydrogen as the fuel of the automobile. So here they are using a 5 gas cylinder of hydrogen. If we do not use metal organic frameworks, meaning that we need more than 5 cylinder. For example, maybe we need 40 gas cylinder. But with the assist of metal organic frameworks, we can store a lot of hydrogen or methane to be stored in the automobile. And this is very efficient compared to the one without metal organic frameworks in the gas cylinder. Yeah. Right. Another application that can be used is gas separation. We know that metal organic framework has pores, meaning that we can exploit the pores to selectively absorb gas molecule. For example, we have a mixture of gas molecule. There is carbon dioxide, there is carbon monoxide, there is NO2, there is NOx, and so on and so forth, for example. And with certain type of Morph, yeah, with certain type of Morph, with certain type or with certain size of pores, we can selectively absorb that the gas. For example, we want to absorb only nitrogen dioxide. We can use certain Morph and release the others. For example, carbon dioxide will be released, and the nitrogen oxide will be trapped here. So there is gas storage, there is gas separation. Another one is the catalysis. We know that metals and organic ligand are usually used as catalysts. Yeah. So the metal cluster can be used as catalyst, for example, transformation in the aldehyde to hydroxyl. Yeah. Or we can use the organic ligands here, to transform carbon dioxide into carbon monoxide. Or we can transform, we can put some active site in the metal cluster, and we can use it as transformation or the active site to transform ethylene to 1-butane. Or we can use also to put some noble metals, for example, palladium. Yeah, we can put palladium inside the structure, and this palladium nanoparticle can be used as active site in various organic transformation. This is the one that this is one of the several works that performed by our group. For example, we use zirconium-based Morph as the transformation benzaldehydes to acetals, and others we use zirconium Morph to as the carbon dioxide capture and the catalyst for ethylene oligomerization. And also we use nickel-based Morph to transform ethylene into 1-butane called ethylene oligomerization. Yeah, right. The last one, the last application that is really astonishing in the recent years is the utilization of metal organic frameworks as the water harvester. Yeah, this is the picture of zirconium based metal organic frameworks. So the pore is not really big. It's not as big Morph 5, but this is really small, but this is beneficial for water harvesting. So the idea is put it the Morph inside this prototype. So this is the Morph layer. Yeah, in this picture, there is Morph layer in the top in the upper side. There is a glass plate, and then in the bottom side there is a condenser. Yeah, and there is a line where condensed heat will be transformed into the bottle. Yeah, so in principle there is Morph layer, there is condenser, and there is condensation heat here. So at night, this kind of prototype, yeah, at night the device is opened. So the glass plate is opened, allowing air to flow into porous Morph. So the air will be flow into the Morph, and the water from the air is absorbed into the Morph. Yeah, so allowing air to flow into a porous Morph that grabs and holds the water molecule. So at night, the Morph will absorb Morph and hold it into the structure of Morph. But during the day, the chamber is closed, and the sun heat causes the Morph to release the water as vapor that condense and is collected as below. So at night, the water is held and collected in the porous structure of the Morph, but during the day, the sun will trigger water to be condensed. Yeah, and the water will be flow into the collector here. So this is the principle of water harvesting using metal organic frameworks. So in this picture, we can see that this prototype, so this is the prototype of the water harvester, yeah, and the energy itself using solar panel. So there is no need of electricity from the source, some source, but we only need solar panel as the electric source. And then this is the prototype, and the water will be collected in this bottle. And this is the from Professor Omar Yagi group, where they can produce or collected 1.3 liters per day for 1 kilogram of MOF. Remember, maybe Indonesia is one of the country that we have a lot of water inside, but in several countries such as Middle East, for example, or in Africa, the water is very scarce. So this technology will help. We can use this type of material to produce water without any electricity, because we only need a solar panel, and you can get 1.3 liter per day for 1 kilogram of. This is really a lot, because if we use, for example, 50 kilogram, we can multiply it how many liter we can collect in one day. So this is astonishing. So I hope you can enjoy my presentation, and I hope you can get some insight about what is metal organic frameworks, what is the principle, and how to make it, and also what kind of potential that can be used for this material. Thank you again. I will give it to moderator.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Ubed. It's very amazing talk about the design, synthesis, and application of MOF. And you know, your presentation showed that the MOF research and publication has increased exponentially, and showing how important it is for our life. And it was very good that you start the talk with the application of MOF, and get back to the what is MOF actually and how it is synthesized. It's great. And now we have some question, I think, in the chat box. Let us read. By the way, for the participants, I would like to remind you to fill in the survey for this session that is given in the chat box. Okay, for the question, the first one is from Nicola. What type of metal organic framework that is really useful among others?
Well, I will answer directly. Well, it depends on the application that we're going to use for. For example, most of metal organic frameworks are beneficial for gas storage and gas separation. So in the companies, in the startup companies, they are usually performing or producing MOF as gas separation and gas storage. But in some cases, metal organic frameworks are also beneficial for catalysis. But in principle, we can design metal organic framework as we wish. For example, we want to make a catalyst with palladium. So we can make metal organic frameworks that is stable. This is the one of the important thing. The MOF has to be stable, meaning that if we put in the air, some MOF will be destroyed. If we put in the air in oven, some MOF will be destroyed. But the one with the stable one, meaning that if we put in somewhere or in heating or somewhere else, this is stable. So we need to have a metal organic framework that is stable in the application, and also we need to address what is the requirement of the application that really needed. So it really depends on the application, but the progress that is really highlighted in many news, in many chemistry news, is the one with the water harvesting capabilities, meaning that they can harvest water as very amount of water. So this is really useful. The zirconium metal organic framework is very useful because this is really stable. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Ubed. And I'm also very interested about the water harvester and how is the, in Indonesia, although we are very, okay, sometimes we have flood everywhere, but to be honest, also there are some part of Indonesia which need water because it's difficult to get the water. I think it's also very perspective for Indonesian research. And what do you think about it?
Well, yeah, for sure. For example, in the area of in eastern area of Indonesia, for example, in Papua or somewhere else, the water supply is very little here there. But in this case, we can use this type of technology to produce to produce water from the air. But one aspect that has to be considered is how much level or how high is the humidity level in that area. The higher humidity level is the better because the much water contained in the air. And another aspect is the electricity. If we use solar panel, meaning that we need the sun all the time. If we use fossil fuel, yeah, we need that type of electricity source. Yeah.
Okay, very interesting. Hopefully, I'm looking forward for the USUM MOF stands for.
Well, thank you.
Okay, do you know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, in the near future, maybe.
Yeah,
Okay,
thank you.
and then the next question is: can we use MOF to trap non-biodegradable waste such as pharmaceutical waste and degrade them to carbon dioxide and water?
Well, there are some manuscript or journals that is published where they trap some. This is for environmental aspect. So they trap some dangerous molecules, for example, rhodamine or something like that, and then trap it into the MOF structure, and then convert it into something else that is beneficial. But again, if we want to bring this technology into industry, we have to look at the feasibility study. I mean, how much cost we need to produce the MOF, how much cost we need to use to collect the molecules in the environment, and how much cost to convert it. It's really because MOF is not really as cheap as we think. The organic ligand is considerably expensive, and the metal ion as well. So if we compare the zeolite and also the porous carbon, maybe porous carbon and zeolite are cheaper, although the application are limited.
Okay, thank you. The next question is from Nurul Hidayat. Oh, by the way, thank you for the Sharif for the previous question. And the next question is from Bapak Nurul Hidayat. Dear Dr. Ubed, to what specific characteristic ligand to metal charge transfer process contribute in MOF? How is its role?
Well, I'm sure. Thank you for the very interesting question. I'm sure that you're from physics or electrics department, but I'm sure you are physics department. So MOF is considerably not suitable for electric charge transfer because the linking between carboxylate and the metal ions hindered the electron transfer. But we can use another type of MOF. For example, the one with nitrogen, for example, the one with the MOF that formed by organic ligand that using nitrogen as the binding moiety. We can use it as the charge transfer, for example. But if we examine all of the MOFs, I don't think they have a good comparison to other materials. I mean, for example, graphene or some other materials that can transfer electron, they perform better than metal organic frameworks.
Okay, thank you. So using the lesion with nitrogen for the charge transfer. Okay, and then the next question is from Nicola. Is there any material such as reagents that are more stable in MOF?
I'm sure I'm not sure if I'm understand correctly the questions, but if we compare the stability of other porous materials, metal organic frameworks is not as stable as other materials such as zeolites and porous carbon. For example, in catalytic cracking, where high temperature is quite required, we need materials or porous materials that really stable in, for example, in 700 degrees Celsius. But metal organic framework, since it consists of organic ligand, this is not really stable in high temperature. But zeolites, in this case, that is formed only by aluminum, silica, and oxygen, they are stable in high temperature. And other materials also carbon, porous carbon. Porous carbon can be used as a stable porous material in many applications. But again, metal organic frameworks with their diversity in ligands and metal, we can design everything that we need.
Okay, so although the Morph has a very high specific surface area and also high specific pore volume, but there is also a limitation that it's not that stable in high temperature. Okay, but there is always an open opportunity for further research for that, right?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, Dr. Ubed, thank you very much for amazing talk today and for very insightful talk about Morph. And also thank you for the participants who have a very fruitful discussion today. So we are very close to the end of this session. And once again, thank you very much. And for all the participants, I would like to remind you to fill in the survey and also fill in the attendance list. Okay, so now I get back to Nimel, to the MC. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you so much, Dr. Nida, for drafting the lectures and coming back with me, everyone. And yeah, now we come to the third lecture of today's event. But before that, you may have your drinks or snacks and enjoy your seat. And also, everyone, we are so happy that now we are on the third lecture, which is going to be presented by Mr. Agung Wichoro, SPD MCAS from Universitas Negeri Malang. And also, we have our moderator in this session, Mr. Indra Fardani, PhD. So, for Dr. Indra, now the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Nimel. Is it my sounds clear?
Yeah, clear.
Okay,
here.
Thank you. Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, good afternoon, everybody. I hope we still have good to continue the lecture. In this session, we will not invite Mr. Agus or Pak Agus. Instead, the speaker in this third season are a little bit different, the speakers. On this occasion, we will listen to lecture not from the lecturers, but from the students. We will listen to the lecture from the 3 students who are under the guidance of Pak Agung. I would like to read their CV first. Okay, they are Dafarizal Zulfakar Alauddin, Luluk Novi Hidayanti, and Siti Nurhaliza. All of them are third and second year student of the undergraduate program of Universitas Negeri Malang from the Faculty of Math and Science. They will give a presentation about one of their project with Pak Agung, in utilizing noni fruit and galangal as a trendy beverage. They create infused water in rich nutrients from germplasm to facilitate blood circulation and lower cholesterol. And they name it Nutrofin. As I said before, they use noni fruit. If in Indonesia we call it mengkudu, and galangal or laos as the main ingredient. They make boba from noni fruit. So you know, boba is popular drink nowadays. And as we know, noni is bitter. So sometimes it's called a starvation fruit because it's implying that it was used by indigenous people as emergency food during times of famine. So noni is nutrient rich, but it's very bitter and pungent. So it is very interesting topic for us to learn how to utilize it into a beverage. So in just like previous sessions, we have 1 hour approximately, 45 minutes of presentation and 15 minutes of discussion. So you don't have to wait to ask the questions. You can write your questions directly in the chat box during the presentation. Or maybe if you still have a question after the presentation, you can always raise hand and I will let you to ask the question directly. Without further ado, so my dear students, Nutrofin team, the time is yours.
Okay, thank you, sir. Let me share the PPT first. I hope you can see the slides.
Yes.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everyone. Excellencies, moderator, and all the participants. Today, we're going to present our idea. As you can see, we have an idea about Nutrofin product. First of all, let me introduce about myself. My name is Nuronovi Dayanti, as a research and development manager in the Nutrofin business. And this is my team. I want to introduce about themselves too. There are Muhammad Fahmi as president director and also as our team leader. Siti Nurhaliza as production manager, Mutami Maturoshida as finance manager, and Esther Margareta Yolanda as marketing and design manager. For your information, all of us are from Department Biology, State University of Malang. Next. And then in this time, I will tell you about our supervisor, Mr. Agung Wichoro SPD MKes. Allow me to read his curriculum vitae. He ever had studied bachelor degree biology education study program at the University of Muhammadiyah Malang and graduated in 1997. After that, he continued his studies graduate biology education at Airlangga University Surabaya and graduated in 2003. He is one of the supervisors for the entrepreneurship activity at the Faculty of Mathematics and Natural Science, State University of Malang, and has success advising college students to create several products, such as Lucia in 2019, Zilotus 2020, and recently is Nutrofin on 2021. Next, we move to the background. These are some of the reasons why we create Nutrofin product. Nowadays, Indonesia faces huge challenge with triple burden disease health. This is exacerbated by the transition of epidemiological parallels in Indonesia. Factors that cause epidemiological transition are unhealthy lifestyle. Discussed 2018 result show the prevalence of NCD has increased every year from 2013. One example of NCD is hypertensive disease. It's recorded that the age of 18 years and above the prevalence of hypertension in Indonesia, 31.7%, and as many as 7.2% of people with hypertension know about the pain, and only 0.4% case took hypertensive medication, so that discipline is required and is quite expensive to control hypertension. Alternative that can be used to control hypertension can take advantage of non-pharmacological treatment. Therefore, our team from the State University of Malang created a product innovation which also became a business opportunity Kalangal and Noni, because Noni and Kalangal have compounded that facilitate blood circulation. So, what solution can we offer to overcome these problems? Next.
Okay, this is the main raw materials of Nutrofin. As you can see, we use noni, or as Mr. Indra said before, noni in Indonesia is called mengkudu or Morinda citrifolia, and then red galangal or Alpinia purpurata in bahasa Indonesia is lengkuas merah, and lime citrus or jeruk nipis, and then butterfly pea, Slitoria ternati or bunga telang. Next, based on our research, the benefits of raw materials are noni contains the active compounds copolytin, which function as vasodilation of blood vessels and lower blood pressure. In addition, the active compounds copolytin also has function as an antibacterial, antiviral, antifungal, anti-tumor, deworming, analgesic, anti-inflammatory, and can increase body immunity. In red galangal contains the alkaloid piperine compound, which has properties as anti-inflammatory, anti-malaria, weight loss, reduce fever, anti-epilepsy, and helps increase vitamin absorption. And the butterfly pea or Slitoria ternati has an important role in fighting diabetes. The role of flower telang for lowering triglycerides and total blood cholesterol and increasing HDL cholesterol level has also proven. And then this is our production process. The first, we have SOP of the COVID-19 protocol, and then material packing, and then we got the first sterilization bottle and the second sterilization bottle, and then selection and cutting of materials, and then mixing and infuse process, cooling and packaging, labeling, and final stage sorting. Based on our calculation, Nutrofin is on sale 6,000 IGR per bottle for 250 milliliter, with the cost of goods sold is 3,908 IGR per bottle, so that the gross profit is 2,092 IGR. And then our product advantage. Nutrofin has 100% natural ingredients and healthy drink, has hygienic process and economical price, delicious and natural, and then we have standardized of raw materials. We also doing a SWOT analysis of our business product. As far as we know, there is no infused water product that focus on improving blood circulation and lowering cholesterol, so that Nutrofin became a new entry product in the market now. In the other side, the market opportunities of Nutrofin are very open, based on the public awareness of healthy consumption habits that begins to increase the pandemic and a fairly high target market value.
Okay, our target market not always for gender, with an age range of 7 until 60 years. Its priorities for all people who care about health. Next, the product marketing strategy of product Nutrofin is to be done by omni-channel marketing, which combine offline and online marketing system. The offline marketing method applied by Nutrofin business is direct selling by direct sales through partnership and implementing event for potential users such as herbal product, and so on. Meanwhile, online marketing through online advertising, e-commerce, and social media for expand market reach. Next. This is our main outlet at Greenhouse FMIPA Universitas Negeri Malang. Next. To maximize marketing process during this pandemic, we will focus on promotion to social media, especially Instagram. In Instagram, we will post education content, quizzes, and other interest content. We have also developed a website, www.trifus.com, to make it easier for customer to find product into an order. To order, the customer only needs to press the order now button because it's integrated into WhatsApp. We have got various publications at several mass media, such as Kompas, Tugu Malang, and one of national TV program in Indonesian, namely is Laptop Si Unyil. Next, our current achievement is that we have won a gold medal at the 2021 OCHIP World Hype Fair event in Nigeria, and a silver medal at Malaysia Young Scientist Conference and Exhibition 2020. For the continuity of our business, in the first year, we will focus on production and business legality. In the second year, we will carry out of halal certification, BPOM certification, and standardized production house. And in the third year, we will focus on market expansion. To buy our product, you can contact us at Instagram and WhatsApp. So thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And for the next, we will show you a video. Okay, please to the operator, please to turn the video. We will show you the feature from the laptop Unio. So please.
Sobat Unyil, ada yang suka susah bedain gak nih? Mana jahe, mana kunyit, mana lengkuas? Nah, dibanding jahe sama kunyit, lengkuas punya ciri khas ujung meruncing. Kulitnya juga kelihatan lebih mengkilap. Dagingnya juga lebih keras dan kaya serat. Kalau dari rasa sih, jahe memang lebih pedas. Tapi lengkuas punya aroma khas. Ya semacam perpaduan jahe dengan jeruk gitu deh. Makanya lengkuas sering dijadikan bumbu masakan sebagai penambah aroma. Tapi jangan sampai salah ya, kalau sudah dicampur sama masakan, sering ketukar sama daging. Kalau buat bumbu masakan sih biasanya pakai lengkuas putih. Tapi ada juga nih lengkuas merah yang lebih sering dijadikan obat. Tanaman lengkuas bisa dijumpai di dataran rendah sampai dataran tinggi. Bentuk daunnya memanjang dengan ujung runcing dan batang tanaman tegak lurus seperti ini. Lengkuas merah sudah bisa dipanen saat usia tanam menginjak bulan ke-7. Proses panen dilakukan dengan memotong batang tanaman, lalu tanah dikeruk pakai garpu tanah biar gampang ditarik. Budidayanya juga gampang. Pilih bibit dari akar rimpang yang sudah tua dan siap tumbuh tunas seperti ini. Lalu tinggal tanam di tanah yang gembur dan diberi pupuk. Lengkuas merah sering dijadikan bahan obat karena kaya antioksidan. Kandungan senyawa lengkuas merah bermanfaat untuk meredakan batuk akibat radang tenggorokan dan membantu meringankan sakit perut. Untuk membuat minuman kesehatan dari lengkuas, biasanya cukup direbus saja. Tapi kalau males ribet, tinggal pilih yang siap minum juga ada kok. Kakak-kakak dari Fakultas MIPA Universitas Negeri Malang inilah yang berhasil memanfaatkan berbagai jenis biofarmaka menjadi minuman kesehatan. Lengkuas merahnya dipotong-potong dan direbus. Untuk 1 kg lengkuas merah membutuhkan sekitar 5 liter air. Tambahkan lagi bunga telang sebagai pewarna alami pada air rebusan lengkuas merah. Selain warnanya, bunga telang juga bermanfaat buat kesehatan, terutama untuk menurunkan tekanan darah dan menjaga gula darah. Perebusan ini menggunakan metode infus, jadi nggak boleh sampai mendidih. Cukup rebus selama 10 menit saja. Rebusan lengkuas merah ini didiamkan sambil didinginkan. Lalu tambahkan perasan jeruk nipis yang kaya akan vitamin C. Rasa asam dari perasan jeruk nipis bakal memperkaya rasa minuman jadi lebih segar. Sip deh, tambahkan lagi air gula asli sebagai penambah rasa manisnya. Seluruh hasil campuran dari rebusan lengkuas merah, bunga telang, dan perasan jeruk nipis ini bakal didiamkan selama semalaman atau kurang lebih 12 jam sebelum dikemas. Tujuannya supaya serat-serat lengkuas mengendap. Selain lengkuas merah, ada bahan lainnya juga nih, yaitu buah mengkudu. Di balik bau menyengat dan rasa pahit, ternyata buah berwarna hijau ini banyak mengandung senyawa aktif antioksidan yang bagus buat kesehatan tubuh, serta mampu menurunkan tekanan darah dan pelebaran pembuluh darah. Potongan mengkudu kemudian rebus sampai mendidih. Air rebusan inilah yang nantinya bakal dijadikan jelly buat menambah tekstur minuman. Ya mirip-mirip minuman boba gitu deh. Saatnya pengemasan. Lanjut masukkan dulu jelly buah mengkudu. Terakhir tuang deh larutan infus lengkuas merahnya. Dengan dikemas dalam botol siap minum seperti ini, jadi gampang deh buat merasakan khasiat lengkuas merah kapan saja dan di mana saja. Karena tanpa bahan pengawet sama sekali, minuman ini kalau disimpan di lemari pendingin bisa bertahan hingga 2 minggu.
Okay, thank you for the nice presentation and the video of the laptop si Unyil. So I will introduce the program. The laptop si Unyil is a program from our national TV program in Indonesia. It's quite famous. So as it's broadcasted nationally all around Indonesia. So they create infused water with boba from noni. They change the taste of noni that pungent and bitter into the edible and delicious product. I'll try it by myself. So this is the product. I have to. Okay, this is the product. So if there are any question about this presentation, please ask on the chat book, or you can raise hand directly. The time of the third session is science planner. So basically they apply their knowledge not only in the classroom, so they also produce a real product. Okay. There is one question from Miss Febrilia Dwinurita. Will read the question from UNESA. Thank you for the question. Is there any special dose for this drink to be effective in lowering blood pressure and blood sugar levels? Okay, please. You can answer it directly. Okay, as we know, because it's quite contradict because we add sugar on that drink, but you claim that the product can lower the sugar level. So it's interesting question. Thank you for Miss Febrilia. Okay, for the question for the presenter, please.
Okay, thank you for a good question. Let me try to answer it. There is no special dose for this beverage to be effective in lowering blood pressure and blood sugar levels. But I'm sorry. Rather than we consume the medicine, it's to be good that we consume the herbal drink. The herbal drink has natural ingredients and that is I'm sorry. I will more than the medicine. Herbal beverage is better for our body because the medicine has side effect for our body. They can produce plaque for our blood, and then it's different with natural ingredients or herbal drink. The herbal drink is just consume for our body, for our body, and just our body is let it go, and no side effect. I
Okay.
think that's all.
Thank you for the answers, Kak. I think, yeah, as we know, if we drink some herbal drink, maybe in Malay or Indonesia, we call it jamu. So there is no side effect of if we consume jamu every day, but of course not so much because it still make our kidney work out. So I will read for the question from Miss Ibu Pivi. Would you please tell us how or where you get the idea of making infused water from herb? Okay, please answer.
Thank you for the question, Miss Vivi. We got the good idea for making this beverage before the one of our member came from Kediri, and there is the Alfred Galangal is the most popular to I'm sorry to yes to use the beverage for any drive truck, and that can increase the stamina for them. I'm sorry.
So yeah, basically it's traditional drink or jamu, yeah, for the truck driver. Wow, I just know that. Okay, thank you for the information. So they got the idea because before the galangal is used for the truck driver as their supplement. So is there any side effect of Nutrafin from Nicolau Alves? Please answer the question.
Okay, thank you for the question. As we know, the natural product don't have a side effect, negative side effect, and our product are using 100% natural ingredients with a hygienic process and using double sterilization and standardized raw materials. So we don't have a side effect. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the answer. Yeah. Okay. Of course. Yeah. As I said before, yeah. Of course, it's drink, it's beverage, and use a natural ingredient. So maybe the risk is lower compared with chemical beverage with artificial chemical. I mean. Another question from Ngasi. How do you maintain the flavor throughout different batches? Yeah, it's quite interesting question because the produce is quite manual. You just cook it in the kitchen or laboratory kitchen and package it. So how do you maintain the flavor throughout different batches? Okay, please.
Okay, thank you for the question. Let me answer it. As we said before, we have standardized process. So we make a recipe for our beverage. And the process also have standardized for how long we boil the water and the gram of material. We have standardized it. So I took it has not different for any batches. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the answer, Siti. Yeah, of course, we cannot precise as we did it in the manufacture or industrial batches, since they did the product in their laboratory kitchen. So they tried to measure it and stick to the recipe to maintain the flavor. Okay, thank you for the question, and guys, I hope it's enough. And next question from Miss Natasha Udin. Have this been tested on human or animal before publishing it, or maybe before sell it? Did you test it to animal or human? Kat, please answer.
Okay, thank you for the question. Yes, we do the organoleptic test before we publish our product. So the product is safe for human.
Let me add the answer. We not test the product for animal before. We test the product for our member, our neighborhood, our family. So, and from their comment, we can make sure our recipe is okay and safe for human.
Yeah, okay, thank you for that. So of course, yeah, the product is safe because it's 100% natural and it's human food. So it's there's no artificial or there is no engineered ingredients. I think so all are natural. So yeah, of course it's safe to drink by human. And the last question from Miss Ligia Martina das Neves to everyone. As we know, mengkudu is also lowering the high blood pressure. So is it okay to people with high blood pressure to drink this product?
Okay, thank you for the question. Basically, this product, our product Nutrofin, is also intended for people with high blood pressure, because our vision is to save the people with high blood pressure to facilitate. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the answer. Yes, because the aim of this project is to create a beverage for to help lower the blood pressure. So I think, yeah, thank you for the answer for the presenter. So I think all the question already read. Is there any? If there is no, okay, I think there is no other question. So thank you for the presenter. It's very excellent presentation. It's very excellent product. So you want award in Nigeria and Malaysia. So congratulations for three of you, for all of the teams. So or also for the supervisor, Mr. Agung, who supervised you to produce this excellent drink. That maybe it's very easy to find the ingredients, but to create it into a boba drink, it's quite new. So I tried and it's very delicious. I recommend you to try. So I think thank you for the presentation. So now we are arrived in the last session. In the end of the presentation. So I would like to get back to the MC. Please, Miss Nimel. Thank you for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you so much, Dr. Inder, for driving the lecture, discussing about science burner, and also thank you for the Nutrofin team for the presentation. I thought that this can be one of the solutions to maintain our health by consuming natural products, especially in this kind of situation where health is something that is highly coveted by everyone. So, ladies and gentlemen, we finally come to the end of today's agenda. And I'd like to remind you that the next meeting will start at 13 p.m. Western Indonesia time or GMT +7. And also the link for the next meeting will be the same as the link which has shared after your registration. So that's all from us. Thank you for the participation. We ask to apologize to you for being mistaken. And the last I say, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. See you. on the next
See you
Monday.
on Monday,
Monday.
okay, at
Okay.
13.
Okay.
Yes, at 1 p.m.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Monday.
Excuse me, teacher. Excuse me, teacher.
Yes, please.
For me, I in the afternoon we don't have meeting, right? And we have a meeting on Monday yet, right? Yes, correct. We have a next meeting on Monday.
At 1 p.m.
Okay, thank you, teacher.
Oh, you're welcome.